Hi, thank you for your question. My family is actually one of the last places I would feel like I need to pass more. I'm very blessed. Not only am I very close with both of my parents, but also my in-laws. They are very supportive of my husband and I. They knew me through my detransition and retransition and everything. They've always been supportive. So there are several places where I would feel like I probably need to pass more, but I'm going to talk about the big two for me. Number one, anywhere I'm going to be shirtless. I already have kind of a high voice, and when I'm excited, especially, I have like very bubbly mannerisms and stuff. So I'm always worried about being outed, anyways. So, in situations where like my family is going to a beach, a public pool, places like that, I usually try to pass a little bit more just to ensure security, I'll never forget the first time I ever went shirtless in like a public area after top surgery. My family, we were going to the beach and I was so scared. I actually had my mom take my son and I walked away from them like far away, and then I took my shirt off and I just kind of hung out for a while just to see like what would happen cuz I was so scared. I felt like if anyone reacted adversely or anything bad happened, like at least my son wouldn't be with me. Nobody cared. Nobody cared at all. It was fantastic. I was just another fat guy walking the beach. It was great. In fact, there was only one guy who looked at me a little bit, and I really think it was just because like he was a bigger guy like me and he had a shirt on, in the water, and I just think he was impressed that I was just, happy with moobs and all being shirtless. This is actually from that day, and as you can see, like, I do get a little facial hair on my face, very little. But I usually accentuate it and dye my hair because usually darker hair helps me pass more. But that's what I did to pass more on this day. And this was like the first picture, like family picture I took on the beach, after top surgery. And I will cherish this image forever. So the second situation and where like I want to ensure I pass more is employment. And also that's why in the video I was showing how I cover this neck tattoo. I've had the same job for years and years, but it's contract based. And although eventually some of my clients do find out I'm trans through legal paperwork and stuff, it's not something I really like to advertise. The truth is, it can affect employment opportunities, and it's unfortunate, but that's just real life. I actually have a story about this. This is way back like 10 years ago at the beginning of my transition. I had a contract with this company for a long time, and basically, I would obtain my clients from this company. Well, when I started my transition, I didn't think to inform them or anything because I really didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to advertise it. But when I had to submit my annual paperwork, they saw that my name had changed. So that kind of outed me. So the first thing that was really odd is I started getting like really negative feedback. Like the reports I would get about my work were just really negative. It's like, listen, I'm a pretty reasonable person. I was like, okay, am I doing something wrong? Like this has to be me. But I noticed that on the same projects that I was getting bad feedback on, my actual clients, like the companies that were using my work, they were giving me great feedback. They kept wanting to rehire me. So I just thought, that's kind of fishy, but I didn't make a stink about it. Then when it came time for my paycheck that week, it got held. At first, I just thought they didn't have the funds. Unfortunately, that happens being self employed when you're in contract with a company, like sometimes they fall short. But when I inquired about it, they said that they were holding my pay due to a fraud investigation. So, of course, I asked, like, well, why? Oh my god, what do you think I did? They said, well, your name was changed, and your gender was changed, and your name was changed to only 2 letters, and that flagged our system. And honestly, this was reasonable to me. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't tell them that I transitioned, so I explained it to them. I sent over all my documentation. I don't think they expected that. So I'm thinking, oh, it was just a misunderstanding, everything's Gucci. But no, they kept the fraud investigation open. So of course, once again, I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? You have all my documentation. Like, what? They told me that they were keeping the fraud investigation open because they thought I was an undocumented resident. They had me on the books for years. So I'm like, are you trying to tell me that you think I'm an undocumented resident and you knew this and kept me on the books for years and years? It went nowhere. And listen, this was not a lot of money. It was only like, I think I had made only like a little over $100 that week. But I didn't care. Like, it was the principle of it. So I called the head of the company and I'm like, listen, okay, this has been like 4 or 5 different things. Like, the first couple of things I was like, okay, but at this point, it is what it is. You know what's going on, and I'm calling an advocate. Right when I did that, she called me back. She went in on her day off, released my pay and everything. Come to find out, I'm pretty sure it was because this little attack poodle guy that was the receptionist was a little transphobic. And then it made sense because like every time I talked to this dude, like he'd call me like feminine pet names and stuff. I look like I could squish you in my pit, man. But anyways, that's why as a trans person in certain situations, like you do unfortunately have to try to assimilate more.